I never thought I would say this, but this needs to be said. I started to hate retro gaming. Now what exactly do I hate about it? Of course not the games themselves. Games back then used to be about art, creating the best game possible, unlikely now where it's cashing in and putting least effort for maximum revenue with useless DLCs that go nowhere and cost a lot. And don't get me started on the loot boxes and season passes that once again add almost nothing to the game. The game often comes empty, half-baked and broken. Games used to ship with content, and I'm not talking about being free of bugs. Of course, games before had bugs, but not like now, because back then the developers cared to make the best game possible. They knew that they will not have a chance to fix it unless they re-release it, as they sometimes did, but they had to ship the game. There were no updates, no online play, no whatever, so they did testing as best as they could, and most of the time the game played great. So back to the subject. Why I started to hate retro collecting. And while the simple and obvious answer is the price, there are other factors. Now let's start with those before we move into the main one, which is they cost a lot, freaking a lot. The other problem I have, the game hoarders that go to the shops and finish everything. They go online on eBay and buy as much as they can without playing them. Now I don't have a problem if you're gonna buy a game and enjoy it. Games were made to be enjoyed after all. People that just buy the games and store them, and I know people like this. Leave the fact that we have YouTubers, fake retro YouTubers that never play the games they promote. They just promote them to increase the price and sell them later and get free stuff as well. I'm not talking about those scammers. I'm talking about people that don't even make that much money. They go and fill their video game collection addiction. It's not collection actually, it's hoarding addiction. Those people ruin the whole community. It should be about playing and enjoying the game, not whoever collects the most games. That's not how it should be. Digital releases tried to solve this problem and created another problem instead of solving the first one. They tried to make the game available to everyone, and people kind of started buying them. Few games, not all, were eased in price because the digital release is available. But the other problem is digital games gets pulled after a while and it's gone. If it's gone, it's gone. Now places like GOG.com offer DRM free games, then that's amazing. I buy from them whenever I can, but even they have this problem. For example, I bought Grandia 2 Anniversary Edition. Glad that I did because they pulled it down. It's now available on Steam, but it's Steam DRM. So games gets pulled down after a while. It's not if, it's a matter when. At least with a physical copy, you have the game forever. Now I know that disc break and disc rot, but you get my point. Another thing I hate beside the price is this whole retro collection. Retro gaming became a trend, pop trend if you may. It's now cool to be a retro gamer, retro collector, despite not knowing anything about it. A lot of people just simply jump in because of the hype and to look cool. And once again, they don't know anything about it. And I know I'm no retro gamekeeper. Whoever wants to enjoy it or get to the hobby can, but if you want to get into anything, I think you should at least like it or learn about it and not get into it because of a trend or because a lot of people like it. Now back to the main point, and it's the price. The prices are ridiculous. Just look at this Resident Evil Biohazard PC release. It's ridiculous. And that's not even that expensive. Games like Flintstone on the NES are getting ridiculously expensive. We have Street Fighter 03 for the Sega Saturn. I know that's the best version, but come on, $400+. And I'm not talking about the sealed PS1, Saturn and all. Those are $1,000+. I know that games weren't that much produced back in the day, but this is getting ridiculous. You have to be a millionaire to continue collecting retro games. New games don't have this problem because they're massively produced and available digitally, but old games out of studios went out of business. Games were rebought. They cost a lot of money, and a lot of people that buy them as an investment or hoarding and do not play the game. Now how do I know this? It's very simple and it's very obvious. Game hoarding, retro game hoarding has become a hip trend, and if people were not buying them, the sellers would not have been selling them at this ridiculous price. Sellers on eBay are trying to get every buck out of old games because they know people buy them at ridiculous prices. Not to mention the fake hype that some retro YouTube channels are trying to produce on a game to increase its price. So what's the solution? I don't know. I thought about like a legit company reproducing the games to bring the cost down, but there are a lot of licensing involved and whatnot. It's a huge headache, which brings us to a topic of copyright laws that should be changed. I'm not saying we should abolish copyright laws, closed and it's free for all, but they should be changed. But that's a topic for another day. The point is, this cannot go on. Some predicted that we'll have a crash, retro games crash, but I don't believe this will happen anytime soon. I want to buy games, play them, and enjoy them. Yes, I have a backlog, but I'm buying the games to play them. I have rare games that I opened, and people advise me not to open it because it's a rare game. Who cares? I buy games to play them. If I don't like something which is very rare, I sell it or give it away. I'm not a hoarder, and I never want to be one. I enjoyed retro gaming and started retro collecting long before it was cool, and I will continue to do so because I love the hobby, but I hate what it has become. If you have a solution, let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comment down below, like the video or dislike it, and I'll talk to you in my next one.